Listen, love, let me tell you the truth that you needed to hear for a long time. Have you ever considered that you are a dream girl? You are feminine enough. You are amazing enough. You do deserve all the love this world can offer. You're just choosing the wrong guys. Aren't you tired of hearing that you need to be more feminine, more seductive, more playful, more elegant, more empowered with dark feminine energy, more empowered with light feminine energy? All of those trends feed our need to be noticed by men, to find a partner, to find love that we want. And it is okay to want those things. It is okay to want a relationship. It is totally okay to want to have a partner that loves and respects you. The question is, why are you with partners who are not that? Who do not respect you, who do not love you the way you want to be loved? Hey dears, my name is Valeria, and in this channel I talk about everything related to therapy, self-development, self-improvement, and ultimately I'm here to help you become your best self. Welcome, I'm very happy to have you here, and let's get back to the video. While all of those self-development things and the things that I myself also talk about are important, and if you want to become more feminine, more playful, more gracious, you are very welcome to do so. But I also feel that there is a very important point that we usually miss out on, and that is that there are usually two people in the relationship. And no matter how beautiful, how flawless, how feminine, how intelligent, how funny you are, if the person on the other side is not willing to put any effort in, the relationship is not going to work no matter how hard you try. That is just the truth you need to learn to accept. Usually it's not about you, and sometimes there is nothing you can do to change how the person feels about you. It's like pedaling a boat from one side. You're just gonna keep going in circles, trying to prove your worth, to prove that you're enough, to prove that he should love you, that you're lovable, that you are good, that you're intelligent. How can he miss out on an amazing girl like you? And you're just gonna paddle, and you're gonna keep going in circles. And who's gonna get tired? Who's gonna suffer from that? Not him, who's simply sitting on the boat and watching you do all of that. It's gonna be you who does all the work. It is great to have the feeling of control in your life, the feeling that you can change yourself, you can improve yourself. It is amazing because that gives you the empowerment. It makes you feel in control of your life, and that is how you're supposed to feel. But you need to also understand one simple thing. You can recreate yourself. You can become the best version of yourself, the baddest version of yourself, but you can never and you should never strive to change another person. So you think, maybe if I do this for him, he'll see how wonderful I am. If I give him my all, my love, my loyalty, time, how can he not see how amazing I am? How can he not fall in love? If I'll be more skinny, more stylish, more intelligent, more funny, he'll be afraid to lose me. He wouldn't let me go. He would catch feelings for me, because how can he not? Listen, love, this is a trap. And your ego is trapping you. You're trapping yourself. Why have you never considered that you are already good enough as you are? You're just choosing the wrong people. And the truth is, the partner that you choose is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And the trick is, it is so much harder for our brain to accept the truth and accept the defeat and accept the situation as it is sometimes, instead of coming up with ways on what we can do, what we can change to change the situation. But sometimes the situation cannot be changed because you only have the 50% of the relationship. It's not only romantic relationship, any relationship, in fact. In friendship, it's 50-50. In relationship with your parents, it's 50-50. In teacher-student relationship, it's 50-50. Each person affects the other person, and each person holds 50% of shares of this relationship. You cannot make people love you more or love you less. But instead of accepting this hard truth, you decide to change yourself. You decide to reinvent yourself so that you'd be perfect in their eyes, so that then you'll get the validation that you need. You'll get the love that you crave. But that is not love, baby. That's performance. Love isn't about convincing the other person to love you. It's about trust. It's about mutual effort. It's about consideration. respect, and connection. You cannot connect to somebody whose door is shut, and it's not your responsibility to bang on the door and ask for them to open it. And another hard truth is that if somebody doesn't see your worth from the start, there is nothing you can do. No matter how much effort, how much time, how much consideration you put into yourself, there is nothing you can do to change that. No sacrifice that you're making will change that. In fact, it's probably gonna make that person like you less, because they will see that you're working so hard to impress them. That means that they are valuable enough for you to work so hard to impress them. It puts you way below them, and that's not where you want to be. I have a friend, let's name her Sarah. She's an amazing person, beautiful, kind, very intelligent, very spiritual, such a nice person. The guys that I would be interested in, for example, pay so much attention to her. But the thing about us is that I noticed a specific type of guys, and she noticed a different type. And her type was, let's name him Mark, the guy that she found. Everything was good at first. They went on a couple of dates. It was amazing. She saw that they are soulmates, that he understands her like no other person, that this is really going somewhere. And the mistake that she made, that she reflected on and also told me about, was that she didn't let the relationship flow. She didn't let the relationship go. After a couple of dates, she already saw a future with that person. She already had the fantasy of them being together. So what happened after? Mark started ignoring her. Not fully ignoring her, he was giving her bits and bobs of his attention, but he would take days to reply. He would completely ignore her. I was trying to push her to see the situation, but she was craving that rush. She was constantly thinking about him. She was constantly anxious about it. And I'm not saying she did something wrong. And later in the video, I'll explain how that works. What I'm trying to say is, slowly I started to notice that she's losing herself. She's becoming more anxious. She's becoming more stressed, even more angry. She was lashing out on me, on her friends. What happened, unfortunately, is she had to hit a rock bottom to understand how bad it got. And usually that is what happens in those situations. Sometimes you need to hit a rock bottom to come out of the toxic relationship. And usually, even though it's hard, it's the best way out. She thought that she was doing something wrong. No matter how hard I tried to explain it to her, she thought she sent a wrong message to him. She thought that she was not pretty enough. She thought that she should be skinnier for him to like her. She thought that she wasn't interesting enough. She was putting more and more effort into becoming that imaginary person that he supposedly is gonna like more. But what happened is it drained her, because it never had a result. He never cared more. He never gave her more attention. She started working on herself, and all that energy that she was pouring into Mark, she turned around and gave back to herself. And guess what happened? Mark came back. And guess what happened again? She didn't take him back because she realized that if the person cannot value you when you're putting the effort in and you're giving your best, that person doesn't deserve your best. Let's be honest, love. You're not fantasizing and you're not falling in love with how shitty that person treats you. Usually we do not look at the reality of the situation, and that is the biggest problem. You usually fantasize about how amazing your date in 2 months will be, how he will fall crazy in love with you, how he will come back and realize how wrong he was, how much he loves you. You're not thinking about how shitty this guy is treating you. You're not thinking about him not replying to you for 2 days. You're thinking about the cute dates that you will have, the romantic dinners that you will have, how bad he will feel when he realizes how much he hurt you, and how upset he will be when he realizes what kind of person he lost. That's what you're fantasizing about. You're not falling in love with the guy. You're falling in love with the fantasy that is only in your head. And the saddest part is the part that I usually notice and just drives me a little bit crazy sometimes, is that usually those people, the people who are ready to give, to improve, to do all of those amazing things, usually have so much to give in the relationship, all the love and loyalty and care, but the good girl syndrome inside them, that feeling that they are not enough, that they do not deserve love, push them to choose partners who cannot even do half of those things for them, who are not just not reciprocative of those things, but are not putting any effort in and are usually a bit dismissive and toxic. Imagine it as 2 cups. Let's say that's you. That is your energetical potential, right? And sorry, this dirty thing is something that I don't use, but I just found. And this is the guy you're obsessing about, that you think you're in love with. When you pour water from your energetical potential into that cup, that will be enough for him. That would be like, wow, that would be so much for him, right? And most of your water will even just pour somewhere else. It will be wasted. That is how much you deserve. That is how much you can give. And the things that you can do for the partner. Thus, something that you can ask for in return. And when that guy tries to fill your cup, it's never enough, and it will never be enough, because that person cannot give you all the amazing things that you're giving him. It's like having a crisp bread in front of you and fantasizing about eating a cheesecake. You want a cheesecake. You fantasize about how amazing it would be to have a cheesecake, how delicious it would be, how good it would taste. But what you have in front of you is crisp bread. And that crisp bread will never be enough for you. It won't satisfy your need for a cheesecake. We need to learn how to see things for what they are and accept them for what they are. Sometimes a crisp bread is just a crisp bread and it's never gonna become a cheesecake. And you need to accept that. You need to look for a cheesecake instead. But what you need to also do is ask yourself, why do you feel like you're not worthy of a cheesecake? Because by choosing the crisp bread, you're showing yourself that that is something that you're worth of. Let me tell you something important, something that I have already mentioned, but I'm gonna say again. If a man truly values you, he won't make you beg for his time or attention. He won't need for you to prove your worth to him because he already sees it. And if he doesn't, it's not a reflection of you or how imperfect you are. It's a reflection of him. He doesn't have the potential to see it. So stop asking what is wrong with me, what can I do to make him love me, and start asking yourself, why am I trying so hard to win over someone who's not putting any effort in? The truth is, most of us are conditioned to believe, unfortunately, that love has to be earned. And that is something that I had to overcome myself. I had a good girl syndrome. I basically thought that love has to be deserved because I received love as a kid when I had a good grade, when I had any achievements. And it's not a bad side of my parents. They did their best, the best that they could, and gave me as much attention as they could at the time, but that is just how it happened. And even though I love them, that has formed this need to prove my love, to earn love, to prove my worth at some point that I had to work through in therapy for years. Or maybe that is the society telling you that your worth is defined by how many men want you, that your value comes from how desirable you are to men. Because most of us were raised this way, with those beliefs, we tend to fall quickly into this game where we can never win. And then we not only feel like we need to earn love of that person now, the second part kicks in, the part that is saying, how can he not recognize how amazing I am? How can he not see how much I do for him? How valuable and incredible of the person I am? Is he blind? I need to show him better. I need to do more so he wouldn't be able to ignore. I need to prove it to him. The jackpot doesn't come the first time, it doesn't come the fifth time, but on the 50th time, it has to come. So you're doing this over and over again. You're trying more and more to spin that wheel, and it never comes. So you're like, but it has to. This time, I know I will win. This time, if I put a little bit more money into this, I know I will win. Guess what? Just like any gambling addict, you will lose much more than you can earn. I'll do even more. I'll try even more. I'll become even better. It's like throwing money into a slot machine, hoping it would eventually pay out. I think we all know, usually it doesn't. So maybe it's time to step back. Maybe it's time to stop pedaling the boat alone. Maybe it's time to realize that you've put enough money into the slot machine and the prize will never come and you just need to step back. Let go of the fantasy that if you change yourself, if you work harder, if you become a better version of yourself, you will then get somebody's love or approval. And start focusing on yourself. Not like you're a project that needs to be improved or fixed, but as a person who deserves peace, joy, happiness, and love that doesn't feel like a struggle. Try to do at least half of the things you do for that person for yourself. That is all I have for you today. Hopefully this video was insightful and helpful. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate having you here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.